very passionate about anything and everything to do with cooperatives. Well, today we are looking into the role of cooperatives and associations in the mining sector. We have seen cooperatives in different sectors, and Asimwe here normally tells us about the pivotal role of cooperatives in different sectors. He has brought us cooperatives like Wazalendo, which is the biggest in the country. But now that we are looking into development, mining, oil drilling, to mention but a few, how are we over there? Do we have cooperatives over there, or we have associations? And what is the difference between these two? Now we will delve into this conversation, but I would like to first of all introduce my guests, and I will start with the man himself, Ivan Asimwe, who is the General Secretary, Uganda Cooperative Alliance Limited. And right next to him is Hope Charisima, who is the Country Coordinator, Uganda, and that is from the UNDP side, and Agumya Alan, who is the Chairman, Miners Forum. And together we will now look at the role of cooperatives in the mining sector. And before I go on to Hope and Alan, I would like to first of all say good morning.
Good morning, Monica. Pleasure being here.
How are you?
And good morning, all our viewers. I really want to thank you for hosting us. We are so happy. It's a wonderful morning. Thank you.
Okay. Now, every day on this program, we have people that watch us every single morning, but then we also have people that are joining us for the very first time. Now, Alan, Asimwe, before I delve into the role of cooperatives in the mining sector, maybe just give us a small overview regarding cooperatives. What are cooperatives and why are they pivotal to the development of any sector?
Oh, thank you so much once again, Monica, and all our viewers. I'm so happy. I'm always happy whenever I'm here, because this is an opportunity where we meet to educate our people, train them, and give them information that is required towards developing this country. Because this country is ours, Uganda is our country, and Africa is our continent. So how do we work together using the cooperative model to transform this country, both socially and economically? I love the words the president usually uses when he says that Africa doesn't need sustainable development, but rather socio-economic transformation. How do we transform this economy, both economically and socially? And the only way, I want the listeners and the viewers to hear this, the only way to transform an economy like Uganda is using the cooperative model. I have read, I have really taken the time to do research on the different development models. But a model that is suitable for a developing country, whether Uganda or any other, is the cooperative model. Why? Cooperatives promote love. People love each other. Cooperatives promote teamwork. Cooperatives, they promote the spirit of ownership and belongingness. This is our thing. That's why you go down there, you find a union, and people are still there. They are very happy. They are bringing their produce. They are marketing it together. That sort of love. And that is how our culture was built before we inherited some of these other cultures. But Africans loved each other. Africans cherished, and they wanted to work as a team. So ideally, cooperatives are based on those principles. And what is a cooperative? A cooperative is an autonomous association of persons united voluntarily, me and you, to meet their social, economic, cultural needs and aspirations through a jointly owned and democratically controlled enterprise. How do we start cooperatives? Me and you and the Hope and the Aaron and the others, as we are seated in this room, a wild cat enters here. So, you know, we may fear. So you say, no, you say, Monica, no, you people don't run away. Let's combine our efforts and fight this enemy. That is a cooperative.
That's a cooperative.
Just in simple terms, that is a cooperative. Cooperate together, fight an enemy, fight poverty, take advantage of an opportunity. And I am very happy that today we are here discussing a very important topic, the role of cooperatives and associations in the mining sector. Who doesn't know that Uganda is endowed with minerals, and who is benefiting? Ugandans need to work together. We need to form groups and cooperatives so that we take advantage of our minerals and make money.
Thank you, Ivan. And now that we have a proper understanding of what cooperatives mean, I would like to first of all go to the extreme left and bring Alan Agumya into this conversation. Now, Alan is the chairman, Miners Forum Uganda. And Alan, first of all, I would like for you to briefly outline the current state of mining, of the mining sector in Uganda, and in your own perspective, its importance to our country.
First of all, I think the mining sector in Uganda is slowly growing, and it's improving day by day. Currently, we have more people, we have many refineries for gold, we have companies doing exploration for gold, rare earth minerals, we have companies doing marble mining in Karamoja, tin mining in Tungamo, the newly opened up Woodcross company that's smelting tin. So the mining sector is growing day by day in this country, and it's improving lives of very many people. In Kabale, we have iron ore mining that's now being fed into Tembo Steel, which is also smelting the iron into steel bars. So I think the mining industry in the country is slowly growing, and we hope it's going to transform the country in general.
Okay,
Yes.
That's exciting. Now, how many registered cooperatives or associations do we have in the mining sector?
We have, I think Hope is best suited to answer the question.
Okay.
But we have a number of companies, associations, especially in gold. We have a number of Adzano mining associations in Mubende, in Busia, in Karamoja. So all these associations now that have been associations previously for Adzano mining can be transformed into cooperatives. Okay? So I think we are on the right trajectory. The conversation across Africa today is about how Adzano miners can be transformed into medium scale or large scale associations. So I think one of the ways that can be achieved is if they are organized into cooperatives, be able to raise money and get money for trading and improving their financial capacity and operating ways on how they mine.
Okay. Now, I also have Hope Agumya, who is the country coordinator, that is Uganda, and also Africa, Caribbean, and Pacific group of states that is under UNDP. Now, Hope, first of all, your title is a mouthful, and that gives me comfort because it makes me understand that any questions that I have, I will get the proper answers. Now, first of all, could you elaborate on how UNDP supports the formation and growth of mining cooperatives and associations?
Yes, good morning, viewers, and thank you, UBC, for having us. It's exciting to talk about this topic of cooperatives, and also in a way to highlight the work we've been doing as a UNDP in Uganda, together with our partners, the SCP and the EU Development Minerals Program. In terms of the question you've asked, I would like to come at it in a way that, first of all, echoes what Ivan talked about. You know, there's an African saying that says, if you want to go fast, you go alone.
Yes.
But if you want to go further, you go together. So what we've realized is the benefit in being organized and in cooperating. There's a good, strong economic argument in terms of really resourcing, combining our economic resources and abilities, and actually also combining our vision and aspirations to really achieve a lot of Uganda's development aspirations. Also, like colleagues have alluded, there is a lot of mineral wealth in Uganda. I think I will not belabor that, but you also notice that a lot of our mineral wealth is well distributed in the country. So there's a lot of opportunity in mining, and also we realize that instead of people doing it alone, it is better, they are formalized, and that is the first step I wanted to highlight. When you formalize, you get a legal identity, and when you get a legal identity, you're able to pool resources, you're able to mobilize savings, but you're also able to access more financing to actually invest more in the right technologies and equipment you need to mine better. So that's one of the benefits I could really discuss in terms of how best people are actually coming together to make sure that we avoid a lot of wasteful mining. You know, people mining individually is a bit not economical in various ways, but they are mining better actually if they are pooling their resources and abilities to get organized. Also in the formalization stage of advancing to a cooperative model, that's where you find there's a lot of problem solving at the community level. We've seen people able to really streamline their operations and able to engage better and comply with the laws and plans that government has to make sure that they are operating in line with that kind of provision. So that's what I could really break into in terms of that, and the benefit of really that cooperation that might come to make sure that at least people are able to align to opportunities, access more opportunities, but also definitely do much more together.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, Hope, when it comes to adopting a cooperative model, are there any programs that UNDP has put in place so far to get to this point?
Yes, UNDP implements the National Development Plan of Uganda in every sense. So what Uganda puts together as the development priority and aspiration is what UNDP actually does. And also UNDP, alongside our partners in the SCP and EU, we really make sure that we implement things based on evidence. So for instance, in our work, we had to develop research and literature that tells us the profile of the mining sector, who are the actors, what are the issues, what are the opportunities. And remember, we are trying to promote also local and international investment into mining. So we had to go into the value chain analysis of some of those minerals. So based on that evidence, which really culminated into a baseline study and value chain analysis of a segment of minerals called development minerals, we were able to quickly inform the work that really looked at Uganda updating its mining policy to formalize artisanal and small-scale miners. We are also to lend our technical support. If you notice, Uganda has a new and forward-looking mining law. We supported that effort on the consultation and actually the presentation of that law that now takes care of artisanal and small-scale mining towards large-scale in a comprehensive way. There are very clear provisions on the licenses, but also on the responsibilities of all players in the local value addition of our minerals. So UNDP has really provided the evidence and technical support to really make sure that the sector is well organized. Another aspect, we don't stop at that, we also invest in the planning. So with the SCPE Development Minerals Program that UNDP implements, we've been able to develop a very robust and multi-stakeholder strategy on formalization of the mining sector in Uganda that is available for everyone. And in that document, we actually prescribed well-researched steps in which miners can organize, formalize, and also be able to culminate into mining cooperatives with all the benefits that Ivan shared. Lastly, we invest in people as UNDP. We are all about inclusion and leaving no one behind. So we have invested extensively in training, which is very important. How do we leverage our experience and expertise to train and sensitize and build capacities of these miners to understand the law, the policy, but also take mining seriously as a business, right? Because mining as an economic activity is not enough unless you take it as a business seriously, you plan for it, you're able to manage your finances, and you're able to also transition. So not everyone should perpetually stop at small-scale mining. How do you advance through those stages for better livelihoods? So we've trained many Ugandans in terms of that aspect, but not before even we go far, we had to complement that kind of support into the health, the safety, and environmental aspects of mining. Because also we are all about sustainability. How best can you do mining as a business, but take care of the environment? You must not harm ecosystems, wetlands, leave open gaping holes in the name of extracting a mineral? How do you restore and preserve our natural resources for the future? So we have really invested in over 25 districts to train miners, support local government officials and business enterprises in mining to mine better, more efficiently, but overall also sustainably, so that we also do not compromise Uganda's natural resource and future.
Well, thank you, Hope. Now, I would like to come back to you, Alan, as the chairman of the Miners Forum. Let's look at economic impact and empowerment. Now, when we get to the cooperative model and it is well executed and they are now cooperatives, you already mentioned we have associations in the mining sector. How would cooperatives impact the income levels of miners in the areas where they operate?
First of all, I think cooperatives can help miners mobilize funds. That's one. And I think one of the ways that cooperatives can be of substantial impact to miners is if we do tailor-made solutions for mining communities. When it comes to gold mining, the needs and requirements for gold mining are very different from the needs and requirements for Adzano mining in iron ore in Kabale, or even in limestone in Moroto. So I think we need to make tailor-made solutions for these associations that we are planning to transform into cooperatives, so that they're able to feed the needs and requirements of those particular minerals they are trying to mine. Now, you'll find that the mindset, the biggest issue we need to deal with as we transform ASMs, Adzano and small-scale miners into cooperatives is the mindset. Because the mindset of a gold miner is primarily very different from the mindset of an iron ore miner. Gold mining is extremely risky when it comes, and also base metal mining when it comes to tin and wolfram. These minerals are very, very risky in terms of mining. The safety standards need to be improved for miners to be very sure that they're going to come out of the tunnels as they mine. But also as we try to combat that mindset, because when a person goes into a tunnel and is not sure if he's going to come back tomorrow, he may not want to save money or be part of a cooperative. Yes. All right? So sensitization of those people is extremely important. Trying to combat that mindset is extremely important, to know that they have a future outside the mine when they come out tomorrow. Because most of the Adzano miners mine are like fishermen. They mine and drink their money and spend their money.
That's true. So actually, as you were speaking, I was thinking of fishermen.
They're like fishermen.
Yes.
So they mine once they get the gold, and they're not very sure how much gold they're going to get. Once they mine that gold, they want to go and drink and have fun. So they don't want to plan and save for tomorrow. So, and you find it's a very common characteristic where the minerals are mining in that space is very risky. When it comes to tin and gold, tin and wolfram, base metals, the three tin minerals, and then gold mining. But when it comes to limestone and iron ore, the risk assessment there is very limited. So miners can plan better. So I think one of the ways that cooperatives, as we try to convince ASMs to transform into cooperatives, is by trying to see how we can make cooperatives like a trading house for gold miners. Can these cooperatives buy gold from their miners and become trading houses? Buy gold, sell it to wherever they're selling it to, and make a profit margin. If they're able to make a profit margin, it will be that profit can convince these Adzano miners to be part, because they'll be also benefiting from that profit. So when you look at the trading segment of gold today, you'll find that the miner who goes into the pit will get the gold and give it to the person who financed that operation. The person who financed that operation probably got money from another person. That person is also, now when they collect all that gold, it goes to this person, the third party. Then the third party will come and sell it in Kampala. So when he sells it, that person is also going to export this gold to wherever it's taking it to. So you find that there's a line in between. So if cooperatives can aggregate that, they would improve their margins and also help miners to plan, source money, because they will have a reputation. We see this happening in coffee, the coffee cooperatives. They're able to trade on behalf of their members. And that's partly why I think why cooperatives in coffee have been successful, and all these other agricultural products. So if we're planning to see how we transform ASMs into cooperatives, we need to think about that model. But I think one other way, that's one way, if we're able to make cooperatives trading houses, they can convince members to be part of those cooperatives and then be able to grow their strength in numbers and also plan better. I think secondly, one of the other ways we can see how we transform cooperatives is by putting up processing centers. Cooperatives being owners of processing centers in those communities. We have seen this model work successfully. I've seen this model work successfully in Asian countries. There's a tin mine in Asia where the villages, families in a mining district for tin are able to mine ore from their land, tin ore, and take it to a processing center. Within that community. It's very big. Yes, it's a very big mining community. They're able to mine this tin, take it to a processing center in that community. They process that tin, the tin ore, because it's rough ore, process it, concentrate it, and then weigh it and pay those members who are part of those communities. So if cooperatives are able to do substantial strategies, investing substantially in putting up processing centers, operating as trading houses, I think mining communities or members in ASMs, especially Adzano small-scale miners, can be convinced to be part of these cooperatives. They need to see the advantage, the cost-benefit analysis of them being part of this and sensitizing them. And I think if cooperatives can be built around this model, members can see, the management of these cooperatives can help improve safety in these mines. They can help source money for exploration, because the biggest challenge now in Adzano mining is lack of knowledge about the resource base that they have and how sustainably they can mine that resource. So if you're able to if people have money, exploration is extremely expensive. So but you can do small exploration programs gradually as they mine and progress. Yes. So if you're able to do small scale exploration strategies and you map your ore bodies and you're able to do some drilling, it can go a long way in ensuring that these Adzano miners have a future of 10 years. Because if you have, for example, if you're able to do sample drilling, maybe do 1,000 meters of drill in an Adzano mining community, they can be able to delineate a resource. Know that maybe we have, let's say, 200,000 ounces of gold, and they can know the structure of that gold. Once you know the structure, you can plan and say, we'll mine it this way. You can make a mining plan, mine it this way and for this long. Yes. And you will be able to project your revenue accordingly, and that will help them plan effectively on even how to explore other areas in those communities. So I think cooperatives are one of the best ways Adzano mining associations, small-scale mining associations we have across the country can find ways on progressing from small scale to medium scale. Okay. All right.
Yes. Thank you, Alan. But still, before I get away from you, you did mention that sometimes, actually most times, Adzano miners are living like fishermen. Like when they go into these pits, they don't believe they may come back. So there is always the probability of I might come back, I might not. So that brings me to another question, and I would like to know if. We have associations now, and I'm wondering whether there are any specific examples where associations have facilitated in the access to modern technologies in mining and safety gear.
UNDP has done a great job in that. They've tried to sensitize and improve safety, providing safety care. But I think when it comes to ASMs, it's more than just providing safety gear. Because if a tunnel collapses underground, the helmet you have will not help you. Okay? So it's more about helping them do have mining plans, mine under a plan. Let them make a plan. We are making these tunnels. How safe are these tunnels? How far can we go? You know, and the biggest issue here is about financing, finances, and the power of numbers. For when it comes to cooperatives, we're working with the power of numbers. It can help combat that issue of financing, and I think they can be able to raise money and plan on how they can mine.
Okay, thank you, Alan. Hope, coming back to you, let's look at environmental and safety standards. How does UNDP help in ensuring that there is environmental standards and safety measures are upheld in the mining communities?
Thank you so much. Environment and safety standards, good enough, are encoded in our laws of Uganda and in our policies. So what UNDP did, first of all, was to unpack these provisions for the miners. And what did we do? We got what are the provisions in Uganda plans and strategies and made sure they are actually simplified. Because like Alan is saying, the issue is around the mindset. How do you undertake mining in a self-preserving way? And you make sure that you stay alive, you thrive, because our country needs all of us to develop, right? So one of the ways was to simplify this knowledge and skill. So we have toolkits that are graphically represented for the miners to actually understand at their level the provisions, the impacts, but also the need for investing in one's safety and health and rehabilitating the environment. And after simplifying it, we worked with our colleagues at the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development to sensitize on sites what these provisions are, but also give people the tips and the skills to actually implement these provisions. Because funnily enough, what to realize was people were not implementing these standards, not because they didn't want, but they did not know how to actually do this. So UNDP also made sure that there are experts from our government counterparts who are able to actually go on the sites and support these miners to transition from unsafe to safe mining. So in a way you find that people are able to mine safely, but also invest in actually their own safety and environmental provisions. I can give you an example of a quarry in Tororo.
Yes.
Because of our work, they use a lot of wood to really generate heat for some of the stone crushing and all that. But because of our work, they were able to actually understand that they needed to invest in reforesting the area around their mine and on their quarry. Because as much as you're consuming wood, you have to replace that. Second, UNDP has actually had investment in transitioning people from that kind of harmful practice. We give alternatives. For instance, when we mechanize, you're able to extract bigger chunks of these minerals, process them mechanically, and then you avoid harming the environment in the process. The third bit was on the skilling, on the restoration. You can't mine and walk away. We also had very bad examples where people's animals were falling in pits, where you have lives lost, where you have lands degraded. We've had a lot of conflict, especially when you look in sand mining, yeah?
Yes.
There's a lot of contention around sand mining, and now it destabilizes fish populations. So as you mine, you're destabilizing the livelihood of the fisherman.
Yes.
If it's unchecked, if it's not regulated, then there's a problem. You even end up with conflict over those livelihoods. So as UNDP, we decided to make sure that our local government officials and counterparts, together with the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development, are able to really train and support the people in the mining sector along the value chains, by the way. Beyond the harm coming from the mining site itself, how you transport, how you process these minerals also has that impact on safety, on health, and on the environment. So how do we make sure people are aware and are skilled in doing that? The last bit I could share is on the model mining site. I think you've heard what Alan talked about.
Yes.
But people learn best by seeing.
True.
If you're teaching them restoration, is it possible to pilot a site and show how this can be done. So UNDP has invested through grants and training so that people are able to see what actually possible transformation and protection of the environment looks like. And on the last bit maybe is on the communication and information out there. The more we talk about these issues, the more people realize the interconnections and linkages between our actions and the big picture on the environment and safety. So also as UNDP, we've been working well with the ministry counterparts to make sure we are also putting out information in all ways and channels that people can understand the actions possible, the results that we can achieve, but also in terms of bringing in voices from different parts, even for the continent, to understand how other miners in other countries have been able to achieve that kind of result for themselves. So we've really diffused the information in an easy manner. We've sensitized a lot and trained people, but we've also gone ahead to invest in some sample restoration sites so that people can understand how actually it looks to mine safely without harming the environment. You're making money, but preserving the country for the future.
All right, we are delving into the role of cooperatives or associations in the mining sector, and I am speaking to Hope from UNDP, Hope Charisima from UNDP, and Alan Agumia, who is the chairman, Miners Forum. Now, I also have Ivan Asimwe, the man that is very, very passionate about anything and everything to do with cooperatives. So you can join the conversation through WhatsApp number 0709-602-592. You can also send a direct text message if you cannot access WhatsApp. Please leave your name and where you're texting from. I already see a few comments coming through and I will be able to share them, so please keep them coming. And coming back to you, Mr. Asimwe. Different sectors have different challenges, but now looking at the mining sector, there are challenges they have, and these range from funding, regulatory support, and market access. With the cooperative model, how would these problems be eased?
Oh, thank you so much. You know, when Alan was talking, I was looking at our beautiful country, Uganda.
Yes.
And our gifted continent, Africa, with all these minerals. My question goes back to the education system. Why wouldn't Uganda have a subject on mining? These are minerals, this is how to do it, this is how to make money.
Don't we have any even at university?
It's not there.
Even at university?
I would be very glad at the university if we had a faculty of mining, because this is an opportunity.
That's right.
But we are doing certain courses that are not bringing money. That's why there is unemployment in this country.
People are educated, but
I am
with no
telling
jobs.
you, Uganda is a gifted country, a part of Africa. Now, besides that, I want to thank UNDP, because this is not the first time when they are coming in to support cooperatives. I want to tell the viewers that in 1990s, UCA worked with UNDP and they established the village banks, which village banks transformed into savings and credit cooperative organizations. I don't know whether you knew that, Monica, that it is because of UNDP, with their strategy of financial inclusion, that we were able to start these bigger circles you see in the country. Talk about Wazalendo, Chamuhunga, Yamujungu, Moyo, Kotido, all those, they were started with the support of UNDP. So on behalf of cooperatives, Hope, I want to thank UNDP. You have always supported the cooperatives. Cooperators outside there, this is a very big opportunity for us. You know, we can diversify like I saw in Germany. You will find the cooperatives in Germany, they are in energy, they are in water, they are in fertilizer, they are in everywhere. So you may be a cooperative, for example, in Buweju, where Aaron comes from. You are in a tea, but actually you can also diversify into mining and you make money. So ultimately, as Ugandans, as Africans, let us stop being slaves. You heard that statement from HE. We shouldn't stop with this idea let us position ourselves to make money. If I'm a miner, a small scale miner, and I know I cannot go to the market, let us combine efforts and we'll go to the market together. Why should we go through a middleman? That's why they are called middlemen. They are kayungirizi. There is someone in the middle who is waiting to make money, but forgetting there is someone who is risking his life down in the tunnel, who is not even sure whether he is coming out. That's why Alan was saying they behave like fishermen, because he is not even aware that tomorrow he will be there. So instead of saving, he wants to eat everything. So why would someone be down there risking his life, but the middleman is now at Kampala Club enjoying, waiting to exploit the other one? He makes money and you remain poor. We need to open our eyes and our ears so that we make money. And how do we do this? The cooperative model. How does the cooperative model help these people? One, it helps them to acquire better technology. Instead of going there using firewood like Hope was saying, you now adopt technology, because one by one makes a bundle. When you come together, you become a critical force. So that is one thing. Secondly, mindset change. There is an opportunity for training, and this is what Hope is doing, and that is what UCA is coming in to do. Mindset change. I will give an example. When Wazalendo was being formed, it was supported by UCA. And I had the time with my predecessor, because by then I was the general manager of a circle. So they came to UCA. In fact, it is UCA that invited the soldiers, the CDF by then, and the team. So they came to UCA. And in their discussion, one of them said, do you think these soldiers will save money? They will not. We know them, they will not save money. The way we are discussing here.
Yes.
So we said, no. UCA said, let's give it a try and see. And we actually discovered that the soldiers are the ones who are saving most. That is why Wazalendo is the largest circle in the whole country.
That's true.
So ideally, we can have the same in the mining sector. For us, we may be here thinking that these people are like fishermen, when actually the problem is not the mine, but the problem is the avenue to save. So the moment we mobilize them and they are able to save, you can find these miners having the largest cooperative in this country. So let's not work on assumptions. Another one, like Hope mentioned, there are conflicts, because there are so many. So conflicts always arise. However, if they are aggregated and supported to form cooperatives, then as Uganda Cooperative Alliance, we support that area. That is our legal mandate. Section 73 of the old Law Cap 112, and now it is Section 142 of the new Law Cap 107, which says that the board of Uganda Cooperative Alliance shall arbitrate in case the procedure has been followed, or subsection 5, which requires the General Secretary to appoint an arbitrator. Then they also mentioned the issues of policy. We need a good law, we need a good policy for the smallholder miners to come together and then work towards the strategy of government. So how do we do that? Then still UCA with our legal mandate, previously Section 29 of CAP 112, and now Section 33 of CAP 107, that says that the board of Uganda Cooperative Alliance shall engage government on matters of policy relating to cooperative societies. So meaning that we as UCA would also venture into that, engage government, engage partners to support these people with a very good legal and policy environment. And then go to capacity building. If they are together in the cooperatives, it is easy to train them. And that is why I want to appreciate UNDP, because UNDP has invested a lot of resources in this area to train our people. How do you train people? How do you change their mindset? Then tomorrow, because ultimately, for them, UNDP, and even us as UC and the whole country, we are looking at improving the livelihoods of Ugandans. How do you do it? Then it is through training, information, and all of that. So we are really so grateful as cooperators. So cooperators outside there, we really need to look beyond. What we are discussing here is not something that is starting in this country. You go to Europe. Go to Germany. Look at the miners in Germany. They are in cooperatives. Go to France. Go to Italy. Go to Portugal. Then from there, go to Spain. Then you go cross over to America. You go to Brazil. You go to Asia Pacific in Korea. You come to Africa here. You go to Kenya, our neighbors here. Tanzania. You go to Zambia. You go to South Africa.
All
you
of
go
them
to Ghana.
have cooperatives.
You go to DRC. Cooperatives. So it means that they have already seen the secret.
Now, Ivan, I have a small question for you. Was Alendo being one of the biggest cooperative SACCO that we have in this country? They had a target of actually having about $1 trillion shillings.
Their portfolio is now
by 2024. Where are they standing right now?
Their portfolio is now around 1.1.2 trillion.
So they already exceeded their target for the year 2024.
It is bigger than some of these commercial banks here, you see. So likewise, do you know that we can have the largest mining cooperative in this country?
In the mining sector.
In the mining sector, because there is a lot of money in mining. Do you dream of Ugandans owning factories here? Like you see for cement.
So Alan did talk about processing in some countries where they have districts have processing plants within, and I think that's very key. It adds to what you're saying about having industries within the mining sector. Now we are coming to the end of our conversation, and I would like to get parting remarks from Alan.
I think we're on the right trajectory. I think, just to add on what you last spoke about, I think cooperatives can also be used to achieve government's agenda today of mineral value addition. If you find a well-organized cooperative can also be trained to do, especially when it comes to gold ornaments, to turn gold into ornaments, to make necklaces. That alone improves the profit margin of gold by almost 10 to 15%, and that's a very good margin to make money and a very good incentive that would make cooperatives look very good. So my parting shot is that I'm appealing to UCA to move faster on this. That's one. Two, try to advocate for incentives for Adzano miners who are working under cooperatives. What are they going to benefit? Are you going to give them tax incentives? Are they going to, what are they going to benefit once they transform from ASMs into cooperatives? I think you need to sensitize ASMs or Adzano miners on this aspect so that they can quickly transition from being ASMs to cooperatives and start saving and doing better things for the country.
Okay, thank you, Alan. And Alan is the chairman, Miners Forum Uganda. Now, I would like to also get parting shots from Hope, who is the country coordinator, Uganda, but also Africa, Caribbean, and Pacific countries, EU Development Mineral Program, UNDP.
Thank you so much. This has been a great reflection and conversation. Parting shots. One, I must also again go to evidence. You know, when you invest in research, it's best to communicate and use it. So this baseline study I've been talking about is online. I would interest people to look at it. One of the things we found out when we did the baseline study and value chain analysis of development minerals in Uganda, we noticed that women make 44% of that sector. But inversely, they deploy the same labor but earn almost 60% less than their male counterparts. And we found that the difference was in the natural ability to produce some of these minerals and mine them, but also we noticed that technology was a game changer. So my first parting shot would be around technologies. UNDP, we have worked well with the Ministry of Energy and Ministry of Trade to actually formalize over 125 associations already, registered as at district level up to Ministry of Trade actually. So UCA, please pick those up and see how best you can grow them in collaboration with Ministry of Trade. But secondly, access to technology. When we talk of local value addition, it's not going to come when we are doing business as usual. So how do we make sure that people have the access to the right technologies to deal with the inequalities I've talked about in terms of benefits of men and women, but also in terms of actually meeting the local value addition aspect. And the second last point I want to make is around financing. So most of these formalized associations had one ask from us. We need access to money to actually get these technologies. But we found that financing that is available on the market right now is very expensive for a lot of the mining groups and associations. We just had a conversation last Friday about de-risking financing. How can government come in and establish these funds, you know, to really actually put money in financial institutions to avail cheaper capital to a lot of these organized mining groups. So we need more investment in that area to de-risk this financing, to avail a lot of affordable money onto the sector. My last point is on sustainability. Everyone listening to us, please, we cannot mine at the cost of our future as a country. As much as we are doing business, we must make sure it's inclusive, it's equitable, but also sustainable. And if you look at the nature of financing, it's tied a lot to our practices of mining sustainably. So we must learn and adopt and implement a lot of the provisions that help us to mine, but in a safer and more sustainable way.
Thank you so much, Hope. Now this is where our conversation will end. Thank you so much, Ivan. You're always a beacon of hope and light because you're always teaching us and educating us about cooperatives and why they are important for all of us as a country. And thank you, Hope and Alan. I have learned a thing or two. I had comments that came through, but due to time, I wasn't able to share those. But yes, let's keep the conversation going. The hashtag is UBCGMU, and the show continues.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda. Pick of the day on UBC.
Every Wednesday, 10 p.m. on your public broadcaster.
Was brought to you by
I'll call you every day, yeah, yo, baby, don't know.
You can now get all the Chibuzi out with MTN voice bundles. Call all networks. Kubei Dondoro. Buy a 25-minute voice bundle for only 1,000. Or buy any daily voice bundle of your choice. Dial *100 *21# and select daily or use the My MTN app. When we talk together, we are unstoppable.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Then recovers with an excellent block and a big play off that.
Vinny Smith storms to the rim, plus the foul. The last hit.
Very much.
For sure.
Yeah.
Jokic takes advantage of the gift.
Methodical, getting himself to the basket. You had mentioned it with the amount of points.
Are you ready for it too? Are you encouraging the people?
Maybe.
Schroeder connects on a three.